Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me here at Stamp with Julie Baum. This is actually the second tutorial that I have put up here on my channel showing you how to put together the tote from the Notes and Totes stamp set and coordinating dies. So this is the bundle. You can see some of the dies here, very few of them because I have them all out. I've been using so many of them. But this is the item. The first time that I did the video showing how to put the tote together was probably only the maybe second time I had put the tote together, and now I have literally done close to 20 of them. And so I've learned a few things along the way and wanted to go ahead and put up a newer version of this tutorial. So here we go. I have cut two pieces. This is lovely Garden Designer Series paper. And I cut two pieces with this die. This is the tote die. So you can see that here and here. Then I also have already cut, and I'm going to show you these coming out of the die. The side strips, the little accent strips, and the bottom, and a handle. And you'll need two sets. So here's my second handle. This is what the die looks like. There's my second handle. This is the die that has the bottom piece and those side accent strips. So if you're actually putting the tote together like a 3D piece, an actual bag, you will need two sets of handles and the side accents and the bottom. All right, now in the first video, I kind of put the tote together first and then added the accent pieces. And as I said, now that I've been making these over and over again, it's much easier to put those pieces on before you assemble the tote. So there are some score lines on this, which I'm just going to go ahead and fold. There's a very narrow one on this end and a second one on that side, like so. Then over here, you have the same thing, a narrow one on the very edge and a second score line there. All right, so that is that. Then we have a score line at the bottom, and the bottom will fold one edge over like that, and that little edge also has two small tabs. All right, so I'm just going to repeat that on this piece. I'm going to fold on the score lines, both sides. I'm going to score on the bottom, or fold on the bottom on the score line. That little extra end piece, and then note that that's where those tabs are. All right, so to put the side accent pieces on, what I recommend is that you just go ahead and tuck that under. We're going to line it straight up on this piece. It's entirely up to you if you want to add your glue to the strip or to this. I have found that it's proving easier to put it onto the tote bag. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I have a scrap here of paper. I want to just get my glue going. All right. So I'm going to put the tiniest little bead line of glue down the edge here, pick up my little accent piece, lay it right up against that folded edge. I'm even checking it, making sure that it's flush with this fold and pressing it down. It will go from the top of the tote all the way to the bottom. The bottom will get covered in a moment with the bottom accent piece. So if there's any area that's not quite right, you only want it to be at the bottom because it's going to get covered. This top edge really ought to be perfectly flush. Let's do the same thing. Fold this side. Add our little thin line of glue. Go ahead and add the accent strip. I've made a number of the totes. I've also made dozens of cards with the flatter tote on it. So instead of 3D, it still kind of pops up a little bit, but you only have to use one tote, one set of accents, and one handle when you put it on the card, because it just goes onto the card like this. So you only have one side of everything. I've made so many of those now, and like I said, as you go, as with everything, the more you do, the better you get. And I just realized that this is so much easier. I haven't decided if I'm going to completely take that first video down or just leave it, but this one is definitely, in my opinion, the one to watch. All right, I've put my adhesive on this bottom piece, and now this is going to go. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tuck everything out of the way. I'm going to tuck the bottom out of the way. Okay, my dogs are going to go crazy because UPS just pulled up. And I'm also going to tuck this little fold. Oh, he didn't ring, so this time they were unaware. Okay, that's good. We won't be interrupted by that. All right, so I've tucked all those little areas out of the way, and now I'm simply going to lay this. It goes end to end, left to right, and it's flush with the bottom of the tote bag. Super easy. If you had already watched the first video in anticipation of Stamp Club this month, I will be putting a notice out so that you know that this one exists as well. I think this is the one to watch. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and fold just so the bottom also has that little bend to it. And it's not hard to do because everything else is already going in that direction. All right, there we have it. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Tuck this out of the way. Let's get our side accent pieces on. I also chose to show you this one with a bolder print. I've done a lot of these tote bags with more subtle prints, and today I thought it might be fun to have this big bold floral print on the bag, and I think it's turning out nicely. All right, same thing over here. Let's tuck that under. Enough glue, but not too much glue. There's that happy place there where you have enough, but you don't want so much that it's going to ooze out all over everything. Line it up. The top is the critical part. It should be flush with the top of the bag. Like so. All right, we'll glue on the bottom piece next. I'm going to keep the tiny fold on the sides tucked under, and I'm going to tuck under that bottom flap. All right, the first time I added the glue to this piece, when I put it on here, you also, in a similar fashion, could just put your glue here. This piece isn't as tiny, so it's not hard to hold on to if you glue it. You saw me do the first one, but this is a acceptable way to do it as well. Okay, it goes end to end, left to right. You can slide it a little if you need to, if you're using multi-purpose adhesive. Give it a moment to grab. And then we will give it that soft bend right there at the fold. And same thing over here. All right, now, as is common when you're working with glue like this, I've gotten a little bit sticky. Even in my classes, what I encourage my students to do is to go ahead and use an alcohol wipe to get their fingers unsticky. Seems like even if you wash with soap and water, you end up still feeling tacky. So I have these little alcohol wipes. The link to these is below this video. I buy boxes of them from Amazon, and that's a great way to get your fingers unsticky if you've touched a little bit of the glue. We're going to put the handles on now. So a little bit of glue on the end of each one. I'm just going to eyeball the center here and get that pressed into place. Let's repeat that over here on this one. All right, now that our handles are in place, all the little accents are on here. Now we can go ahead and assemble this. And as I did before, I mentioned that you can either start with the bottom pieces here, or you can start with the side pieces. I'm going to go ahead and still do the same process and start with the bottom. I like to have that fold bent. That way this one knows right where to go, and you can just stick them together. And then it's an end-to-end thing that you have to fiddle with a little bit. So that these pieces will indeed fold up and in. I need to slide mine over so that this will fold up. It's a little bit hampered, so I can tell I need to slide it over. And a smidge more. So I'm sliding from the left to the right. There we go. All right, the bottom is now stuck down. I can fold in these pieces that have those little tabs. And now all I need to do is add my adhesive to these skinny areas here and bring them up and in to each other. This bottom part just stays on the inside when you bring these two edges together. And then I'm going to line them up at the top so it's perfect. And I'm going to hold on to that right here in the inside. So I'm grabbing those two little flaps and just holding them together to give the glue a moment to stick. I'm also going to press it together right here where those edges meet. Ideally, I would leave this for just another extra moment or two to make sure that it's holding on, but to keep the video moving, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and complete this side for you. So we've got, again, our glue on the small area, the little small space next to that first fold. This bottom flap is up and in, and I'm bringing those two folded edges together, joining them at the top so that the top is nice and even. I'm going to grab those flaps on the inside and just hold on to it. And now I'm going to adjust this and just hold it into place as well. You're welcome to grab a tweezer or a little tool that might help just hold it and reach down in there and really pinch it if you feel like that's necessary. And there you have the most adorable little 3D tote bag. Let me go ahead and show you just a couple of the others that I've made. There is this cute black and white gingham. Is that what that is? Gingham, plaid, check? All of those are used interchangeably, and I'm not sure if one is more correct than the other. And this floral one. All right, so there's a couple others. And then I did make one. I saw another creator make one that has a Disney theme to it. And of course, I had to case that and copy her little Disney bag, which I thought was adorable. I put a little black pocket on the back of mine, and of course, the Mickey shape on the front. There you have it. It's not hard to do. You just need a teeny bit of patience, some glue, and follow these steps for a successful process of putting your tote together. Thanks for watching.